I have here a bin full of old Pokemon stuff. Cards, games, nostalgia. Who knows? There'll be timestamps. Seemed like a fun thing to look through. I know I'm a year late to that whole card craze, but that's how I roll. Terrible timing. Let's crack this open. Yeah, either way, Pokemon is such a massive thing. If you grew up through that era at all, good chance you have some history with it as well. A book. How exciting. I remember having a bunch of these, but I guess I only kept one. It seems like it's just an episode of the anime adapted into a little kid's book. And I didn't watch the show. That's one part of Pokemon history I don't have. It's really the games that I know an unhealthy amount about, which has come up a couple times in the ancient history of this channel. Well, we've got a couple English manga here. Pretty cool. Yep, if you were collecting cards around 2007, you might remember these Diamond and Pearl Level X tins. You can tell that was around the peak time of me being into the cards. But don't worry, I've got much older stuff than that. Some of these tins aren't empty. Oh, it's just some coins and damage counters for the TCG. I mean, who plays the card game? They're for collecting, clearly. Ooh, yeah, this is interesting. I never knew the full history of these, or when we got them, but this is the Pokemon Coin Battling game? Here we go. Yeah, these are heavy brass, I assume, coins from 1999. Just one of the many collectibles they were pumping out back then. And you're supposed to spin them to battle them. Nobody ever explained the rules to me, so I made something up when it came to like the item and the status tiles, what they meant. Yeah, I used to actually play with these. Just match one team up against the other and see who won. Wow. Dark times. I didn't have much access to electronics back then, alright? You kids these days wouldn't understand. Oh my god, who's gonna win? Ooh. Well, those are a blast from the past, but probably not for many people. It'd be cool to polish them up. Now we've got a bin within a bin of obscure toys, I think? I wonder if anyone will remember anything in here. Oh, it's the coin battling thing. Yeah, this is what they came in. You popped them out of these. Pop, pop, pop. Standard loot box situation. And it looks like there are a bunch of rules in here. Okay, wow. I was too dumb to read or didn't care. I don't know what is going on with these jank-ass bootleg cards. They're not remotely attempting to pass as real. It's a weird rubbery plastic material. Who made these? And why? And how do I have them? Ah, Pokemon playing cards, apparently. Not my first thought when you hear Pokemon cards. That moment when you download a fake PNG and are not paid enough to care. Not really though, because Google hardly even existed. Are these round playing cards? What on earth? But they have stages and evolutions? What monstrosity of a hybrid game is this? Rules. Yeah, we're not figuring that out. Now, it wasn't even page 1 of the multiple rule cards. Choose a player and take one card from their hand. Damn, Ash, stealing Pokemon now, are we? Look at that face. He's taking what he wants. Man, to live through Pokemania, they just made everything. We got a bag of what looked like movie cards. Yeah, Mewtwo Strikes Back. I don't actually know what all these are. Like, there are also these Topps trading cards. Hollow Charmeleon, though, sick. Oh, a couple more of these rubbery cards. Except that's blank. Wait a minute. I think I get it. I'm guessing this peels off. Yeah, okay, they're stickers. Are they official, though? Still gonna say no, probably not. Going off how Pikachu is a grass type. It has a 10 power move called... That is not gonna show up. It says Pikachu makes a shocking impression on the Pokemon Master to Be. Yeah, that sounds like a copy-pasted generic description. And it has a box in the corner that I guess they didn't know what to do with, so it just says, I choose you, Pikachu, in Times New Roman. Amazing. Ah, Psyduck is a fellow grass type, I see. What's in his info box? Psyduck can be a potentially powerful Pokemon. Okay, good to know. Grass is the only type, apparently. What info do we have on Abra? Abra's unique attack. Ah, a couple of well-known electric types. Sadly, they just get stuck with Surge's face. Okay, sorry, getting sidetracked. I love bootlegs. I gotta try to sort this pile. That was a mistake. Turns out Topps made a lot of random junk. We've got by far the most Mewtwo Strikes Back, some hollow, some not. And then there's Pikachu's Vacation, same story. These things, where it looks like each one is a puzzle piece you're supposed to put together. These supposed trading cards. Mom, can we get Hollow Charizard? We have Hollow Charizard at home. Then the TV Animation Edition trading cards. These anime collection cards of some strange variety. Then a mix of who knows what. There's a couple Pokemon Stadium cards, game tip cards, who knows. I know very little about all this at the end of the day. If any experts want to weigh in, I'd love to hear it. You know, if something's extremely rare and worth $1,000, that'd be great, thank you. Oh, and there's a pack from the first movie. Interesting. Summer 1999. The Pokemon League is coming to a city near you. Wow. Then just these figures. Not much to say about these. It would only be nostalgic if you had the exact same ones. I loved this Gengar, he's all translucent. Very cool. Alright, moving on. A couple things down the side. I think I know. Uh-oh. Well, first a couple handbooks. Some OG stuff right here. Behold the foundation of my encyclopedic, useless Pokemon knowledge. And there's one for Gen 2, which is apparently handbook number 3. Who knows what happened to 2? This is ruined by pen all over. Those are fun books, though. This is going to be embarrassing, I already know. Everyone went through a phase of designing some Fakemon of their own at some point, right? Well, when I was around 10, I was no different. Let's see. Yeah, okay. The grass starter line was a bunch of pumpkins. We've got Lacaturn here, which was apparently going to evolve into Pumpking. I know I should still have some of the documents as well. I'll see what I can find. Yep, this is amazing. I found the folder, and there's Pumpkinker, which I apparently redid when I got slightly better with the Photoshop. This was all 2007 to 8. There was some Christmas. My parents got me a basic computer of my own, and I started having fun messing around with image editing. Well, we've got the fire starter line, Snare. Yep, some fire snakes. The other two were apparently supposed to be Sneakhire and Kaplosia. Then the water line is not here, but I did find them. Sisquit, Peleska, and Chugatone. I remember brainstorming and working on these, thinking they were just the best. The young mind. I mean, I wasn't wrong, they're pretty epic, right? The rest of these do not seem very organized. Lurchade and Murkrade, though, pretty cool. A seaweed whale of some kind. Egafear and Stegalier, though, nah. Eyeball Bats, not original at all, my dude. Bonert and Skeletont. Damn, that's pretty hot, though. They stole Bisharp for me, 100%. Yeah, most of these are hot trash. Blubber and Flubber, there's no detail there. Those are just wolves. Those are just shapes. That's a Grumpig ripoff. Now we got more shapes. Shalog, male and female. Some kind of psychic yaks. That could work. Zetorx and Hortoxo. Fire zebras, I think. See, they stole Zebstrika from me, too. Yeah, right, that's about what you'd expect from a kid's attempt to design some fake Pokemon. If there's some more in the folder that is not in here, I can throw those up. But I think we can move on from this. A bin full of old Pokemon stuff. Okay, big binder. We're finally at the cards. Maybe the most relatable and exciting thing to look through these days with that big spike of interest last year. There's a lot of potential now for finding that diamond in the rough that's actually worth something. Alright. Well, that's nothing special. I have to dig for the cooler, older stuff. Let's get him out, the iconic man himself. He who must appear on every Pokemon card-related thumbnail. There he is. Not first edition, nothing crazy, but iconic nonetheless. Darkzard in there too, very cool. As far as condition goes, just about everything here is not great. It's not bad, like they weren't played with a ton and bent. They're pretty clean, but pretty much all the hollows are scratched up, mostly just vertical scratches from sliding in and out of sleeves that may have gotten dirty, got some bits of sand in there. I liked keeping them clean as a kid, but I wasn't overly concerned, and I also had the bad habit of packing too many cards into one sleeve, because if I had a bunch of types of Pidgey, I liked trying to keep one of each art. But yeah, I don't think you're supposed to squish them all in there. Well, there's the iconic 3. That Blastoise is really beat up, I don't know if it shows. There are scratches all over, you can see the hollow coming through. I know it's a common thing. As a kid, I thought this was a fake card with the thin HP number, the no shadow. I didn't know anything about the shadowless print run, making this probably more rare than the other two. Too bad it's all scuffed. I don't know why I chose to keep this bent Charmander, because I know I had multiple of this exact art. Why keep the bent one? Oh, neat. At least for Charmeleon, I actually kept a shadowless and a normal. Even though I thought it was a fake card, I guess I kept it for the novelty. While I'm taking some of these out, I could explain the story behind all this, cause I wasn't a spoiled rich kid opening hundreds of packs to have all these. My mom's just really smart. I didn't open any of these base set packs, cause I am old, but maybe not quite old enough to really call myself a true 90s kid. We've kind of covered that I was into this stuff in like 2006 to 8ish, so I was opening that Gen 4 stuff. Whenever a birthday or Christmas rolled around, I'd get a few packs or a couple of those tins. Didn't play, just collected, cool art, fun to fill out the binder. So it was my mom's high IQ move to say, you know, these card packs are kind of expensive. Look at this on Craigslist. We could go get over 1,000 of this dude's cards for $100. So that's what we did. Went to a few Craigslist people, usually some dude who was going off to college, getting rid of his old cards. I vividly remember one house, seeing all the cards spread out on the carpet, and we scooped them up. It was a ton of fun to bring them all back. We'd sort through them all, try to keep one of each, and the extras we would just end up reselling for pretty cheap, or pretty much what we paid for them. Yeah, I know, too bad I didn't hoard everything, but easy come, easy go. I'm not bothered by it. It was a lot of fun, and that's how I ended up with a ton of these jungle fossil base set cards and a mix of other stuff. What even is this Spearow? Is that real? What set is that? Never seen this style of reverse holo. Well, I don't know how much of this you want to see me go through. We'd be here a bit long if I'm taking everything out to see what's in every slot. If people are interested in seeing everything, I could go through them at some point. I don't know. I also don't know why, as a kid, I decided if I got cards from the newer Diamond Pearl sets, they should go in front. Maybe I thought this frame around the art looked cleaner. I guess to me back then, I didn't perceive the older cards as more rare or more interesting, because I had tons of extras of them compared to the newer ones, so they felt more rare to me. Well, that's Gen 1 for you. There's an old Zapdos behind there, right? Yes, there is. Very cool. Yeah, there's a lot here. Ancient Mew from the movie. I can't imagine trying to price all this stuff, no clue what it's worth. I just assume whenever I see any clean, holo rare first edition, it's probably worth something to somebody. After Gen 1, it really starts to fall apart with a ton of gaps. There's still some interesting stuff hiding here and there, but all this I'm guessing is less interesting. You'll start to notice these weird placeholders that at one point I printed out to help me remember what goes there in my quest to fill everything in. Oh, I have an awkward story I can tell about those. Back when I was maybe 9, I took this binder to school on occasion, to trade, or to show off, whatever. There'd be a group of kids, maybe a mix of grade 2 to 5, at recess and lunch, and I had a bunch of extras of the Gen 1 stuff, so I was down to trade those for any new slots I could fill in, and if I did, I could get rid of the placeholder. But one kid I did a few trades with was like, hey, I'll take those if you don't want them, and I was like, well, okay, sure, I was just gonna throw them out, they're paper. If you want them, here you go, why not? Well, you see, some of the later placeholders I actually printed in color, which was a dumb waste of ink I still feel bad about. Why did I do that? Black and white totally works better as a placeholder. At a glance, these look like actual cards, even though they're clearly not an attempt at a fake. It's not like I printed out the back and glued it onto cardstock or something. So I could not foresee the drama that was about to occur. After school that day, I was tracked down by the angry mother of that kid, who, in an epic 2006 Karen moment, was like, hey, are you the one scamming my son? Holding up those paper placeholder cards? And I'm only like a year or two older than him, not some kind of imposing bully character. Anyway, so I said, yeah, I am. What are you gonna do about it? You're not my mom. And I walked away. No, I quickly did my best to explain that we traded real cards, I was just gonna throw those away, and he wanted to keep them. I was not trading them as if they had any value. So she checked with him and was like, alright, sorry about that. It worked out fine, and fair enough of the mom to be concerned. Could have come at it a bit nicer, but yeah, now I get the pleasure of that vivid memory to look back on. If anything, I'm sure I got the bad end of those trades, giving away who knows what first edition base set stuff. I didn't pay too close attention to any of that. Well, we're at Gen 4, the last generation of card collecting. I didn't open a ton of these packs, no massive booster boxes, just a few singles and tins. So there is better coverage here than Gen 2 and 3, but it's also harder to tell because of the color placeholder printouts. Yeah, I might only have half the stuff on this page. It might be even harder to tell on camera. It was kind of pointless flipping through these. Yeah, lots of level X stuff from those tins. And there we are, pretty much. A few unique energies at the end, apparently. Some trainers. Yeah, not gonna spend a ton of time on the trainers. You can pause if you want a quick view of the page. Come on. Nearly there. Alright. Wow. See, I show these on every first date and they always leave. What's with that? If you were to ask Kid Me what I thought my coolest cards were, there were a couple shinies I skipped over. The Shining Magikarp. I thought it was super cool to have an actual shiny card, thinking surely that had to be super rare. And then there's the Shining Tyranitar. The way I judged rarity was just by the circle diamond star symbol in the corner for common, uncommon, rare. So the fact that Shining Tyranitar had a triple star symbol, something I had never seen, made me think this was the coolest thing ever. He's kind of doing the Jeb pose. I'd vote for T-Tar. Well, I do still think that's cool. Oh god, what is wrong with that Magcargo? It looks diseased. And I don't think I ever wanted to see Magcargo narrowing its eyes. Let's swap that out. There we go. I did also think the base starters were cool to have. Everyone's always liked Charizard. I forgot about the sealed... What is that? Ah, giant promo Arceus. I'm sorry, Arceus. Gotta trigger some people. Forgot all about that. This was one of the few things I got at a card shop, along with a small version of it, because I just thought it was cool to have an Arceus. Said it all three ways now, there you go. Well, I was gonna say, I forgot about the sealed Machamp that many people have, because it came with starter sets, I think, as a promotional thing, so I think it's not even that rare to have kept a sealed one. Well, that is the main card binder. Fun to go through that old collection again. I wonder if I'll want to sell them someday. It's sort of that fallacy where I would never spend this much money to buy these cards. I'm not actively into any card collecting, but because I have them and they've got some history, they are fun to hold on to. It's always harder to let something go. I guess it would also be a lot of effort to try to price it out. And guess what? That's not even all the cards. There's this other binder that just kept some extra trainers. Yeah, not that exciting. Then, this card box of the extras that still remain after all the selling. This should give some idea of the scope of our card buying and selling operation. Not for making a profit, it was just a fun way to fill in the binder without spending too much. There used to be several of these boxes full of cards. You can see this one was set up to sell them. I used to go to swap meet type things with my mom. We'd get a table in some community center gym. It was fun to run a little storefront for a day. I would have individual cards set up like this, and it also put together these grab bag things, like 50 cards for $5 with a stated breakdown of how many common, uncommon, and so on would be in them. I wasn't scamming, I put good variety in those. Who knows what base set treasures some people ended up with for $5 Canadian, but that's part of the fun of it. I wonder who out there still has those cards, and if they mean something to them today. So, not too many extras still left, it's been picked over. It would be cool to see everything I had at the peak. Now apparently I'm left with tons of Magmars. Guess people didn't want those. Anyone want an Exeggutor? Yeah, I remember several duplicates of things like that Dark Charizard specifically. I wonder who got a killer deal on that. And I think I had a non-holo base Charizard. Must have been traded. Whoops. Last thing, some of these are funny. This is a pile of non-English cards that somehow made their way into people's collections and then into mine. So mostly Japanese, with the odd French, Italian, German. Ah, who could forget everyone's favorite, Fakemon. Incognito Eye. Yeah. Huh. A couple of these are pretty sick. What is that? Ah, right. Floofaloof, German Igglybuff. Well, you can go join the others. When I was moving out a few years ago, I found that under some shelves. Must have just tossed it in the bin. Well then, I think it's time for the final chapter of Pokemon Nostalgia, the games. My history with them does start with the original red version, even though I was too young when they actually came out, and my family was very against owning any game consoles. Screen time was very limited. I know that's come up before in other videos, so a handheld brain candy machine was an absolute no way. I think they figured that's all I would ever do with my time. I'd develop no other interests, hobbies, or skills, and spend no time outside, and they might have been right about that, good parenting. Sadly, I didn't get to know life a Pokemon game, but some friends who lived next door did have the games, so a few times when I went over, I got to play some Pokemon Red. It must have been like 2002 or 3. I was a wee lad, I don't remember that much, and I only ever played up to the first gym or two a few times. I don't think I ever came back to my save. I basically only played enough to find seeing sprites like these nostalgic, and that's about it. But damn, even that was super fun and addicting at the time. Much later, the only true experience I have with owning a Pokemon game was, as you might guess, Gen 4. As if it were fate, my dad at one point was given a DS by a friend who bought the wrong thing and couldn't return it, apparently. And from then on, he was like the keeper of the DS, for the same screen time reason. Remember, there were no smartphones either, so I was mainly given the DS whenever we traveled somewhere. It was for long drives or flights, only rarely at home. Hilariously, I tracked down this image. That's me. What a Chad. Absolutely gaming. I believe starting Pokémon Diamond for the first time on a flight to Vegas in late December of 2007. I do still have my copies. Hope it all still works, and I can check out what save I left behind. What a sound. This DS is very scuffed. The touchscreen is glitchy and offset to the left a bunch, and it also has trouble reading games. I think I'm gonna have to struggle with it for a while. Gotta hold it down, restart a few times. Hopefully it's able to recognize the game. There we go, amazing. I'm just gonna sit here and cry watching this. Here we are. Where are we? 332 hours played. Not an insane amount of time, but quite a bit considering how much I was allowed to play it. There might have been some sneakily using it late at night here and there. What a time. Defeated B-Barrel. So it's showing me notes of the last time I played. I wish it had a year. Yeah, there's not too much info I can get from this. It is interesting though. How do I even escape? Press start. Okay. We are in the Hearthome City. In a completely random street corner. Not at the GTS, not at the League, okay. Well, the PC is the thing we really gotta take a look at. Here we go. Well, it kinda starts off with the spiciest box. In a box of unknown, good old Salacian ruins. Here we go. Let's go in order. As you can see, I went hard on the living decks concept. Everything obtained legit with an asterisk on that legit. I'll get to that. Basically everything I could catch, I did. No Kadabra though, apparently. Also, here's Gyarados, which I used on my main team. I was pretty dumb, I did not need more water coverage when I picked Empoleon, but I didn't know what I was doing. Thunder, Hydro Pump, Surf, oh no. Let's check Gyarados' special attack stat real quick. Less than half. Yeah, I'm not surprised though. I vividly remember a moment of using Hyper Beam and then Waterfall, and being like, why did Waterfall do more? The power is like half. I think I started to figure out Stab, but did not attempt to understand the physical special split, which you'd think would be easier to understand. I loved the GTS as well, the global trade to help fill things in. I put in offers whenever I could. Yeah, I played without cheats for a long time. Like, I vividly remember waiting in an airport for a delayed flight, sleepy as hell, like 2 AM, grinding in the stark mountain grass to evolve a Dragonair. Well, eventually I was looking into how do I get Darkrai, Shaman, Arceus? Oh, you can't. They're in the game, but they weren't released. Great. So I ended up getting an action replay eventually, just to get the items required to do those events, or to walk through walls to get over to Darkrai's Island. Fun stuff. And then, you know, may as well get infinite items. So the legit part ended there, but at least I didn't just hack in Pokemon. I don't think I knew how, and good, because that would have fully ruined any point there was, and the fun in trying to get everything. Don't know why these two are here, but I do remember the shiny Ho-Oh. Any shinies I have, I just sniped off the GTS, but I was still pretty proud of that, even though they are almost certainly not legit. A lot of the Hoenn stuff here actually came from the same neighbor friend who had the Pokemon Red that I played. He was still playing Emerald at the time, and at one point a bad egg appeared in his PC, and from our basic research at the time, it sounded like it could spread and consume everything else in your game. So he was like, alright, just take all my Pokemon, I beat it anyway, and I transferred them over here, so they would live on. Thank you, sir, if you're out there. I think I could find parts of his team. Who could forget such favorites as Gogeta the Aggron, and Sex Bomb the Manectric? Well, it was thanks to him that I had the Reggie trio to go get Regigigas legit. That was cool. And here's another one of the very legitimate GTS shinies. As you can see, I never got close to finishing the Living Dex dream, so sad. But we're into Gen 4, which should be better filled out, and we can find some more of my team. My boy Empoleon here. I probably don't want to know the moves. Then Staraptor, of course. I didn't use any nicknames. Very uncreative and boring, I know. Luxray, I thought I used more. I know this is the most cliche playthrough team of all time. Everyone's got the same stuff, right? Like, yeah, Garchomp's up next. You need one of those. I mean, I had the help of that awesome book to navigate to Gibble in the Wayward Cave. That book really is awesome. The art, the layout, the info. I love that thing. You know, thinking about it, I take back saying Gyarados was dumb. The moves were, but it was a decent pick. With like Dialga, Empoleon, Luxray, later Heatran, a counter for fighting and ground was actually badly needed. Plus Intimidate. Yeah, not bad. Why did I name this tree? That's the extent of my creativity. I probably cheated to level a bunch of these. I just liked the evolutions. Oh, how could I forget Alejandro? I remember you. Another GTS trade, but I was still proud of it. And the man Dialga, Lord of Time. They really outdid themselves with the Gen 4 legends. The trio of creation, literal gods. How can you top that? You can't. These were all fun to catch. Exploring Stark Mountain, Snowpoint Temple, getting lost in Turnback Cave. Then, there's without a doubt the only thing of actual rarity on this account, a legit Manaphy. The only way to get this was to play through to the very end of Pokémon Ranger, a side game that I don't think was super popular, then complete a special event post-game mission, then transfer the Manaphy egg over to the main series, and you could only do that once per Ranger cartridge. Even if you reset the file and played through again from scratch, you could never get another Manaphy. So there weren't that many of these out there. Obviously now it's been given out a bunch, and it's easy to generate and hack in Pokemon, so it has no real value. It's just a cool little thing to have actually done back then. Ranger is probably to blame for destroying this bottom screen though. Wow, all the loops. I swear it's getting worse as I'm recording. You're watching the last hurrah of this DS. Goodbye, old friend. The Ranger games were honestly really fun though. I only played the first two, but as far as side games go, I think they're underappreciated compared to something like the Mystery Dungeons, probably the most popular side series. Well, to wrap up, just got some GTS trading fodder at the bottom. Spiritomb, Snorlax, and Fione all traded pretty well. Wow, I don't think I ever knew you could view the Hall of Fame in the PC. So that's the first time I beat it. November 7th, 2008. I do not remember bringing us elements. What I do remember is refusing to use any potions in the Elite Four, so I just kept training and losing until I finally swept through the whole thing. It looks like I beat it a bunch more times, using it to train and evolve stuff for the decks. Then a massive time jump to 2013, beating it with the Ho and Ditto. I do not remember that at all. I never actually looked at the party. Ah yes, legendary spam. It looks like some more of my old friends' Pokemon. Good old Oddjob the Metagross. And there's Arceus, wow. Met at the Hall of Origin. You had to cheat in the Azure Flute to access it. But it was at least caught in the game. Very cool. How long since these badges have been polished? There we go, nice and shiny. Well, one of them. Farewell, Diamond. Until I open this up again someday, who knows. I did then pick up Platinum, which I could take a much briefer look at. I have no clue what's on there. Platinum's a great game and all. I remember being a bit disappointed though, because I did not understand Pokemon's formula at the time. I thought I'd be getting a game that was much more significantly different from Diamond, playthrough-wise, not just a version with some improvements, gym changes, and a few story alterations, so I didn't end up playing it as much. Still organized the boxes by dex number, apparently. What a ghost town though. Yeah, not much reason to do what I just did all over again. Now, I guess here is where I used Luxray more. That makes sense. Wow, yep, there's the OG team right there. That I recreated for some reason. Why did I use Gyarados again? Well, it's got physical moves this time, okay. Okay, well, maybe I'd find little Easter eggs here and there if I kept searching through those saves, but I think we've seen the good stuff. To continue the timeline, I started to fade out of the Pokemon games shortly after that. It was that time for the people my age, around late primary school and then entering high school time. People were into Modern Warfare 2, not Pokemon. So I was fully checked out for Gen 5. It was only later, in the last couple of years of high school, with X and Y coming out, I started to be back into it a little. I never actually got those games, or a 3DS. I was becoming much more into the whole YouTube hobby and COD than playing any new Pokemon games, but I started to follow a bunch of YouTube content on them. I've often got something on the other screen, so I went through tons of playthroughs, Nuzlocks, Wi-Fi battles, the competitive scene. There's a YouTuber Draft League concept I find super entertaining. I also got into playing some Pokemon Showdown, which is just a free website battle simulator. It's been around for ages. Not the most visually appealing thing, but it's great for practicing your battling skills, building teams, or just for playing the random battles. Pretty fun. All that is how, over the years, I've come to learn an absurd amount about the Pokemon games, despite never actually owning one since Gen 4. Then Pokemon Go came along. That was a pretty fun wave of worldwide interest, and I actually documented that launch in some weird old videos on the channel. I did continue playing it for the 4 years I was in university, because some friends did, and it was super fun to play on the side with campus raid groups in between classes. We also had those cheaty map sites and discords that could send me an alert if a perfect IV Pokemon was anywhere nearby. I sometimes had to leave a class and go sprint for a perfect IV. Don't play much anymore, seeing as how I live in the middle of nowhere and hardly go anywhere. I guess the last Pokemon thing I've played, in quotes, was Pokemon Home, which is just the new storage and transferring service that I got on my phone. But for some reason I felt like paying for it to get the better Wonder Trade and GTS features, because they added the ability to transfer Pokemon in from Pokemon Go, and then I could use those for all the trading. I got super addicted to it, checking my Wonder Trades several times a day, and over the course of a month or so, I did finally complete my very own living decks. It was that easy. I caught them all without actually owning the game. I gotta be one of very few people who collected the full decks without even owning a Switch. Not because it's hard, but just why? Speaking of that, what now? Many friends have been bullying me to buy a Switch for some time now. I am a stingy person, and I never felt like I'd have time to really enjoy it. I was always busy with some other work, or was wanting to focus any free time on something COD YouTube related. That can be a very all-consuming hobby. But saying no forever is no fun. No more missing out. I think I can have some time for it now. I did once say in an old Q&A I would finally get a Switch when they made the Gen 4 remakes, and, well, they happened. I guess they weren't as impressive as they could have been, and the timing was bad because covering COD still came first in my mind, but I think it still had to happen eventually. Even if the remakes are just okay, it's honestly all about the music. I've literally avoided spoilers of the remakes. That sounds dumb, because I know roughly how the game plays out. I've mainly avoided it to avoid the music, so I get to experience that by playing it. The Gen 4 soundtrack is so powerful, I can't put it into words. How is there so much emotion packed into this handheld monster collecting game? It's as if it was composed to sound nostalgic the first time you listen to it, and listening to it now is double nostalgia. It's true that every Pokemon generation, regardless of overall quality, has plenty of absolute gold on the soundtrack. For me, as a complete package, Gen 4's collection of pensive piano tunes and smooth jazz can never be topped. Totally not biased. My friends in Discord have also been bullying me to livestream playing through the remakes. I don't know, maybe. I could see doing that on my very dead Twitch channel that I haven't used in 5 years, but more like 9 years when I was really streaming there. I don't think any of those followers even get notifications anymore. I still have no plans for my Twitch, but I guess it feels a little more out of the way and private over there. I don't feel like shoving it in everyone's faces on YouTube. So if you want to catch that, if it happens, you can follow over there and come be one of the 3 viewers, one being Nightbot. I probably won't even tweet it out. This is your one and only mention, super deep in this video. The Legends Arceus game also comes out in just a few days. That could be a more interesting thing to try playing after the remakes. I don't know what to think about it. I haven't even followed the news too closely. I know nothing about the story. I did see the one leak that I should not have seen. Won't go into details, but my god, how'd they manage that? Look how they massacred my boys. It'll be okay, big man. Thanks for holding the mic, by the way. Oh well, sounds like it could be a cool, different game for once. It could also be terrible and devoid of content. Never know. I hope it's good. Waiting for reviews would be smart, but if I were to actually stream it, bad could just mean funny. Well, it's been fun revisiting everything, a bin of memories, and a couple decades of history with these games. Maybe none of this is anything you find nostalgic, but we all know the feeling. It's always a happy sad to look back. Nostalgia's unique in that way. It sure can be cruel, leaving you longing for the simpler times as time marches on away from them. That's getting older for you. We're all left with these feelings and memories unique to ourselves that can't truly be communicated through words, through telling a story. It's tragic in a way for an experience to feel lost to time. But every now and then we can come together over shared experiences to reminisce fondly, connect with people over them, and that's a beautiful thing. That's all life is. I like one of Gen 4's themes centering around time. I've always battled with the passage of time, even as a kid. If I were given a time limit to play something, I might prefer to just stop. I couldn't enjoy it anymore thinking about how much time I had left. It's taken some perspective on how everything is fleeting to better appreciate moments for what they are. Experiences aren't meant to be eternal. They wouldn't be very special if they were. as the saying goes, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And you never stop making memories. The good times aren't all behind you. If you're going through a bad time, well, they don't last forever either. There's plenty more fun yet to be had. So have it, and document those times. Share them with others. Before long, you'll want to be looking back on the now. Time will keep on moving. May as well make the most of it.